animals, it could be argued, make the world complete. It's impossible to imagine a world without the chirps and squawks of birds, without our dogs and cats at our feet and on our laps, and without horses, who exist mainly to give us all, no matter how old or cynical, a reason to yell horse while driving past a field. So let's talk about some of the weirdest looking, strangest acting, coolest animals that most people have no idea they share this big, wide, wonderful world with for now. Don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Comment down below which is your favorite. Most salamanders are little and pretty darn cute. The Chinese giant salamander is neither of those things, but it is cool. It was only in 2019 that National Geographic says it was identified as the world's largest amphibian. And the difficulty here comes in that the animal called the Chinese giant salamander has been found to consist of at least 3 different species. Still, these huge creatures are capable of growing to lengths of between 5 and 6 feet, and they can weigh around and upwards of 100 pounds. They've been around for a long time. The San Diego Zoo says these monsters split from other amphibians around 170 million years ago, and they've remained largely unchanged since the Jurassic period. It lives mostly underwater in mountain streams across China, surviving by breathing not through gills but through its skin. And mankind has managed to nearly kill these ancient dinosaurs. Scientists are fairly certain they're nearly extinct in the wild, thanks to a combination of pollution, habitat loss, and a poaching market fueled by the exotic medicine market. Take a look at that picture because we need to talk about exactly what's going on with that fish. It's called the barrel eye, or Macropinna microstoma. And here's what you're actually looking at. According to the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute, the small slit that looks like a mouth is indeed a mouth. So far, so good. However, the 2 little features above the mouth aren't eyes, they're nares, which are described as olfactory organs. All right, but what about the eyes? Check out the fish's transparent head. See the 2 green domed-shaped structures inside. Those are the eyes. For a long time, there was little known about these deep-sea fish, and scientists were pretty sure those 2 eyes were fixed in place, probably to allow the fish to look for predators swimming above it. More recent footage shows the eyes swiveling to look at what it's eating. That transparent dome of a head is almost surprisingly delicate, so delicate that it's usually destroyed when these fish are occasionally hauled to the surface. It's also why we've known so little about them and the adaptations that allow them to live in depths just beyond where light penetrates. Will further research find that there's a little creature sitting in that dome, working the controls? Totally not ruling it out because the sea is, after all, a weird place. The Guardian notes that there's a ton of stories about octopuses who have been taught tricks for treats in much the same way dogs or human toddlers can be taught. And that's created all kinds of debate on just how intelligent the members of the cephalopod family are. The title of smartest is still up for grabs, but National Geographic says that the title of cutest goes to the Dumbo octopus. So named for a set of ear-like fins, the set of around 15 different species of little Dumbo octopuses tend to have stumpy little arms, have an average size comparable to a pet guinea pig, and live as far down as 13,000 feet, which Oceana says makes them the octopus species that are the deepest divers. Since they live at such deep depths, they don't really have any serious predators. They don't have the ink sac that other octopus species sport as a deterrent, and they don't have a particular breeding season either. Instead, the male Dumbo octopus hands over what the Ocean Conservancy describes as a handy-dandy sperm packet, which the female carries with her until she's ready to lay her eggs. Those eggs will hatch fully formed little Pokemon, octopuses, that are ready and waiting to start living their little deep-sea lives. Pictures of a super shiny, metallic-looking horse make the rounds on social media every so often, and it's easy to scoff about how the kids feel it's necessary to Photoshop everything these days. Can't they just appreciate things for their natural beauty? Those pictures we're talking about are absolutely real, and those gorgeous horses with the metallic coats are a breed called the Akal. According to the Livestock Conservancy, the Akal comes in a variety of colors, but it's the gold that's not only most common, but shows off that metallic shine the best. It's not a trick of the camera. The Akal has a unique hair structure that acts as a prism, bending and refracting the light as it hits. The result is a super shiny coat, no matter what the color. Even not taking their dramatic shine into consideration, they're pretty unique horses. They're one of the oldest breeds in the world and are immediate descendants of the Scythian horses that were around some 3,000 years ago. They're extraordinarily intelligent, and in spite of their lithe, delicate appearance, they're hardy enough to travel hundreds of miles across harsh terrain with little food or water. They may look like ethereal fairy horses, but they're pretty tough. Audubon calls the Hoten a genetic mystery, and that pretty much sums it up. Sure, this Amazonian rainforest-dwelling creature is technically a bird, but it's just really bad at being a bird. It starts right from birth, because when Hoten chicks hatch, they come out equipped with some distinctly dinosaur-like claws. They're not just useless leftover appendages either. When predators invade the Hoten nests, the chicks can take a nosedive over the side and into the rivers below. Not only can they then swim to shore, but they then quite literally claw their way back up their tree. They're the only birds that eat nothing but leaves, so it follows that they have a unique digestive system, which is responsible for the bird's relentless methane burps. According to Discover Wildlife, the Hoten smells a bit like cow poop, and that's kind of fitting. Their digestive tracts are similar to cows, and they have a process that very much like chewing cud. Aqua Expeditions adds that so much of their internal structure is dedicated to digestion that it came at the cost of their ability to fly, which they can technically do, just not well. Oh, and that smell? It's why they're called the Stinkbird. Their appearance has been compared to the 150-million-year-old Archaeopteryx, and it's thought that they branched off the evolutionary tree around 65 million years ago. No one else joined them. There are plenty of animals you'd expect to see some decent-sized fangs on, but they mostly come in the cat and dog style of animal. How about fanged deer? These aren't just long teeth either. According to One Earth, these fangs are so distinctive that they've earned the Chinese water deer the nickname of the vampire deer. And while they don't actually use them to drink blood, that we've seen, they do use them for fighting. Since the Chinese water deer doesn't have the antlers that are more commonly seen on deer, so instead, the tusks serve as their weapons that aren't to be taken lightly. They can use them to fight off predators, and when they fight among themselves, usually over mates or territory, injuries can be severe. There are a couple other footnotes to this one, and it's worth noting that they're often described as having a face like a teddy bear, mostly because of their rounded ears. They're also small, about the size of a large dog, and they're shockingly good swimmers that can paddle across distances up to 7 miles without setting foot on land. Water deer indeed.